Hi, I'm Susan Aglukak, and I'm a National Arts Center teaching artist. And this is part one of my four-part series called Your Lens, My Eyes, Reflections on Truth and Healing. In this first video, we will cover ancestors and how learning and reflecting on their journey can fill in knowledge gaps and heal. I am Inuk from Arviat from the Kivalliq region of Nunavut. My father, David Aglukak, was Kainagmute from the Chesterfield Inlet, Rankin Inlet group of Inuit. My mother, Dorothy Daktu, is Haunakdong-mute, and she is from Arviat and the Rankin Inlet group of Inuit. I was born in Fort Churchill, Manitoba, and we lived there for the remainder of the year that I was born. We moved back to Arviat briefly and then moved around between several communities in the Kivalliq region for the next 10 years. We've lived in Rankin Inlet, Well Cove, Baker Lake very briefly. We lived in Cambridge Bay in the Kitikmeot region also very briefly. But then we settled back in Arviat in 1977 and 1978. Arviat is the home community of my mother's people and family. It became a permanent settlement in the late 1950s when several major Inuit groups were settled there. Arviat is Inuktitut and plural for Arvik or bowhead whale. It is situated in an inlet where whales spawn in season and where the respective groups of Inuit move to for spring and summer and early fall to hunt and harvest whale, caribou, geese, and fish. One of those groups are my mother's people, the Haunakdong-mute, or dwellers where whale bones abound. And I want to spend some time on these people, and in particular, my great-grandmother Tahilq, who adopted and raised my mother as her own. In the conversations with my mother, in the way that she shares stories and memories of her time with Tahilq, are lessons, beautiful lessons. We are given a different dimension of a tradition that we've never had. My mother's formative years, birth and formative years, were with Tahilq. So she's had them. And so as we learn about Tahilq and that generation of Inuit people, this generation of Inuit can use that bit and those pieces in our Inuit lives as contemporary Inuit. We have been very fortunate as a family to find images of ancestors as far back as 3 and 4 generations. And I want to share those images with you right now. This series of photos is called Ancestors or Sibuliqput, and it begins with a picture of my father, David Aglukak, and he was Kainagmute from the Chesterfield Inlet, Rankin Inlet group of Inuit. His father, our grandfather, John Tugak, he was one of 3 brothers, Tugak, Aliyak, and Misralak, pardon me. Their mother, Atwat Joan, our great-grandmother. Her mother, Mani Germain, our great-great-grandmother on our father's side. Her mother, our great-great-great-grandmother on our father's side, Halok. And then we go on to my mother's side of the family, and this is my mother, Dorothy Daktu, and she is wearing a traditional twilik with beadwork that she did herself. This is her mother, our grandmother, Albina Ikatak. Our grandmother again, and she is carrying in her amautik our uncle Ivano. Their mother, our great-grandmother, Tahilq. And this is the woman who adopted and raised our mother, Dorothy. And it is these memories of her childhood that my mother often speaks of. And in those conversations, in the way that she talks about Dahilk, and the words that she uses, words that we may no longer use in our contemporary Inuit world, are pieces of a puzzle that we need to collect so that we live more comfortably as Inuit in our contemporary Inuit world. In the stories my mother recalls of Dahilk, and in the way that she talks of Dahilk, there is healing. So while we're collecting these pieces and we're listening to the stories and these pieces fall into place, we are also healing. Her formative years were traditional and spent with her grandmother Dahilk. And in that camp was Tikdak's camp. John Tikdak was one of Dahilk's children, Dahilk's son, and he was a pioneer in soapstone carving, and his carvings are world-renowned and owned all over the world. So these are the memories my mother has of an entirely different time. So when she shares, she is sharing grounded in true Inuktitut, in true ways of communicating, in tradition, in culture, and in ways of knowing. My early perceptions of my elders and ancestors were distorted. But as an artist, the work of being an artist and creating calls me to look at all parts and pieces of the stories. And this process has revealed enough true pieces of our ancestors that what I have collected so far has been transformative and it has been healing. I talk about the language my mother uses. We have contemporary Inuktitut. I am conversational Inuktitut. I am not traditional Inuktitut. I am not a traditional Inuktitut speaker. There are still many, and thank goodness for that, that speak the traditional Inuktitut way of speaking. There are still some words that we no longer use in our day and age that my mother will use when she shares memories of her childhood and her early adult years. And again, those pieces are critical pieces as part of the new contemporary world we are creating. And as artists, we have access to all this art and ways of creating. What I have challenged myself to do is when these pieces fall into place to put them into what I am creating, a mixed media piece of Dahilk. My mother's memories of Dahilk are of the one that I have shared. And that's the image of Dahilk she has. We've never met her. We never had the privilege of meeting Dahilk. And so the bits and pieces I have learned before now are of a distorted image of that time and those people. And so the mixed media piece is a bit distorted in the beginning. But the goal of the piece is collecting stories, and in the stories, the emotion, and as emotions fall into place, we come up with this image of my great-grandmother Dahilk as told by my mother, and this piece becomes clearer. And that's the goal in the end of this mixed media piece, is my mother's end story of Dahilk. So in the next video, I want to spend some time on those words, the language, the ways of communicating that my mother uses when she speaks of Dahilk and that time, and how this influences the next stage of the mixed media piece, which is part of the new world we are creating as contemporary Inuit and artists. It's been a privilege to share this with you, the things that I am learning, and I hope you will join me in the second part of this 4-part series. Thank you very much.